Mayor Daniel Lurie touts his achievements during his first 100 days in office.
Street encampments are dropping, and violent crime is down 15%.
But are his efforts actually noticeable when you walk around the city? We are checking in with San Franciscans.
Well, I just bought a new bike because mine got stolen a couple days ago, so I don't know if crime is any better.
And a Santa Rosa mall has an interesting new tenant. We'll give you the tour of a brand new police station with a strategic location.
We have our downtown enforcement team has these Zero motorcycles. So these are electric motorcycles.
And wine bottles made from recycled paper, the revolutionary new way of packaging coming from in our own backyard.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hi, I'm Sarah Donchi in for Juliette. It was just over 3 months ago that Daniel Lurie took the reins in San Francisco, promising a huge comeback for the city. And today he reflected on his first 100 days in office.
For the first time in 5 years, people feel San Francisco is headed in the right direction.
At a celebration at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, he gave a progress report. He highlighted his work toward delivering safe and clean streets, tackling fentanyl with more targeted services and operations to crack down on open-air drug markets. He also pointed to an increase in shelter beds and a drop in street encampments and said that car break-ins are at a 22-year low. He admitted there is more work to do.
I'm out every day walking alongside San Franciscans, listening to their concerns. What I've learned in these first 100 days is you can't solve what you can't see. And I'm going to keep walking and talking to people each and every day until public safety and public faith is restored.
So that's the public safety piece. And when it comes to revitalization, Lurie pointed to a 50% surge in convention bookings, Zara opening up a flagship store in Union Square, and a projected 80 new AI office leases. And he also promised to build more housing among his plans, allowing for taller buildings along transit routes across the city. Lurie was also proud that even Charles Barkley, a well-known San Francisco hater, recently invested in the city with a $250,000 donation to Glide Memorial Church. But are all of these improvements that Lurie is touting actually noticeable? Our Lauren Toms heard from San Francisco residents, and she also talked to a former mayor.
Former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown says there's no comparing Mayor Daniel Lurie's start to his own early days in City Hall.
I'm envious of it because I don't think my first 100 days went as smoothly. I don't think that my first 100 days had the kind of luck he's had.
100 days into office, Lurie is riding a wave of momentum after an upset victory over incumbent Mayor London Breed back in November. But Brown, a fixture of city politics, says Lurie's early gains are built on foundations laid before him.
I don't see great evidence of an increase in personnel because you can't produce it that quickly. He's entitled, however, to take credit for the numbers. But those numbers were not 4 months. Those numbers go all the way back to whatever was put in place year and a half ago. That's now working.
On Inauguration Day, Lurie vowed to clean up San Francisco streets, reduce crime, and fast-track housing. But not every promise fits into a 100-day timeline.
Building new housing, not possible. Starting a police department all over, not possible. All those kinds of things are not possible.
San Francisco native Kimberly says Lurie's policies are making gains, but not without some controversy.
I think a lot of things that shunned away people was the crime and just the homelessness and the public drug use. And now it's something that is not visible, but I've also noticed it has moved on to different neighborhoods.
According to SFPD, citywide crime is down 30% compared to the same time period last year, but not everyone feels the drop.
Well, I just bought a new bike because mine got stolen a couple days ago, so I don't know if crime is any better, but at least petty theft. But I've personally felt safe since I've moved here.
Others, like Assad, say the city feels different, but they're holding out for something more.
Like, it's only been 100 days, so I think it's like what he's done is like a good start. I think for me, San Francisco still doesn't have the vibrancy of pre-COVID, so that's like one thing that I see is still missing.
That vibrancy, Lurie says, is next. He's touted plans to reinvent the city's nightlife and make it one that runs 24/7. And for Mayor Brown, who's been in his shoes, the early praise comes with a dose of perspective.
It always is a honeymoon in the first term. By the second term, the honeymoon will be over.
A city grateful for change, but with a close eye on what's to come.
The next big challenge ahead of Mayor Lurie, and it is a big one, is a nearly $1 billion budget deficit. Bay Area college students joined a National Day of Action for Higher Education today. Rallies at UC Berkeley and San Francisco's Civic Center brought together hundreds of students, faculty, and staff.
Advocacy matters. Don't stop fighting. Don't give in to fear.
They say universities across the country are facing broad attacks by the Trump administration, including cuts to federal funding, the revoking of international students' visas, and elimination of diversity programs.
It's our collective unity, at least in a community sense, that at least is going to make impact here. And Berkeley as an institution has always been spearheading a lot of movements.
So there's hope.
There's hope.
Over at San Francisco State University, students and faculty held a teach out and marched to Civic Center too. They are protesting the state's plan to slash nearly $400 million from the CSU system's budget. 4 teenagers are in custody in Santa Rosa tonight after police say they stabbed someone waiting at a bus stop. Investigators say the teens tried to rob 2 other teens near Boyd Street and Hickory Circle. Witnesses say the attackers were shouting gang-related threats and a fight broke out. A 15-year-old was stabbed multiple times but is expected to survive. Police say there is no evidence the victims were connected to a gang. Santa Rosa police have put a lot of effort into preventing violence among young people and being more visible in the community. In fact, they have opened up a new police substation at a place where a lot of people hang out, the mall. Our Suji Nam gives us a tour.
Santa Rosa Police Chief John Cregan is taking us inside the new police substation, located by the lower level entrance in the Santa Rosa Plaza.
We have nice computers here, and this is where our officers for our downtown enforcement team can come here. They can do their work of writing reports, of being able to access evidence and book evidence, be able to look at any type of investigative work they're doing.
The downtown enforcement team of 8 police officers and 1 sergeant is now working here in the mornings and evenings. Chief Cregan says they will have more visible presence and rapid response calls in the neighborhood.
Some of that rapid response we have right here. We have our downtown enforcement team has these Zero motorcycles. See, these are electric motorcycles that we can go on our trails throughout Santa Rosa.
This new substation is a little over a mile away from police headquarters. The chief says his downtown beat officers and patrol officers will be working at the substation as well.
Santa Rosa is changing, and that's for the positive, and we're seeing that, and our downtown enforcement team has been a key element to that success.
Chief Cregan says the downtown enforcement team receives general public safety calls, including concerns about homelessness. District 5 City Council member Caroline Banuelos says this new substation will help provide resources for those in need.
It's a great step toward community policing, and I think that's really what policing should be all about.
She adds that it's a step forward in public-private partnerships across the city, having heightened security presence at the mall in the heart of downtown.
This is also showing the community that, it's great for you to come here. The, law enforcement is right here if you need anything, but also, you can shop, very comfortably and know that, any problems will be taken care of probably quickly.
And the police chief says while his officers are already working in the back, it's a work in progress up front behind these double doors.
Our vision is to put a desk right here in this area and to be able to have a desk, and we would have either one of our volunteers in policing or community service officer. We'd have the doors open here so members who are walking by here at the plaza would be able to come in and get resources. We're going to put a host of different pamphlets and resources from the city.
Chief Cregan is optimistic his new substation will bring positive change to the community and let neighbors know that they are there for them.
Out with the glass, in with the cardboard. We'll take you inside a California wine company using a revolutionary green technique to bottle their wine.
Temperatures warmed up a little bit today, but we were still short of what's normal for this time of year. But we're going to climb again tomorrow, and the Easter weekend is looking pretty nice overall. Details on that full 7-day forecast coming up.
In tonight's Project Earth, more consumers are embracing and even choosing sustainable packaging. That is especially true for baby boomers, millennials, and Gen Z. Now, new wine bottles made out of none other than recycled paper are on store shelves. And Makovic reports in the U.S. they're only made in our own backyard.
With great soil and a cool climate, Monterey County is the perfect place to grow wine grapes. Here, hundreds of vineyards use environmentally friendly methods to produce exceptional vintages.
Bonnie Doon's always been a pioneer, really pushing the boundaries of sustainability and farming practices, whether that's organic, biodynamic.
Sustainability has been one of our core values since our family founded this business in 1972. We've always just believed very heavily that you need to treat your vineyards well, your land well.
Now winemakers have a greener way to package their wine. This device created in the UK is called a frugal pack. It creates wine bottles out of recycled paper.
We describe them as a wonderful sustainable option in the wine packaging world.
Shannon Valadares is with the Monterey Wine Company. It is the only place in the United States with a frugal pack.
The response has been excellent. I think the retailers have really stood behind this concept and said, this is what we want.
Making and transporting glass wine bottles requires a lot of fossil fuel, which creates a lot of carbon.
When you think about the weight of traditional wine bottles and that glass and what goes into making the glass, blowing the glass, transporting that glass, there's a huge carbon footprint there.
I mean, we sell to 30 countries internationally, and so having a lighter weight bottle and one that has less environmental impact is really great from start to finish.
The process starts with flat cardboard covered in art.
The wonderful thing about this bottle is the entire canvas is your label.
A plastic insert will hold the wine. The device then pinches, folds, and molds the paper into a bottle. The contraption can make up to 500 bottles an hour.
We feed the line.
Those bottles are then filled with wine and packed in boxes.
This is half the weight of a product that is made with glass.
For the winemakers, they are raising a glass.
Boy, this is awesome. I really hope that customers in the stores, that they get it, because it's kind of different.
And it's a start. It's something that we I think collectively have to be thinking about. How can we make an impact that's better for our planet?
You can now find these wines at places like Target and Whole Foods, uncorking the future of wine right here in Monterey.
Well, last year, King Charles honored Frugal Pack with the most prestigious business award in the United Kingdom. The company was given the King's Award for Enterprise, in this case for the innovation in sustainable packaging.
Would you drink wine out of a cardboard bottle?
I've been drinking wine out of a box for years. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually not a huge wine drinker, but cardboard bottle, cardboard box.
Cardboardo.
Yes, sometimes, that's the vibe. And people in San Francisco know that there's been a whole boxed wine thing at Dolores Park for many years.
That is true.
Yeah,
so,
not that that's legal or encouraged, but
well,
it happens.
We're innovating.
Yes.
That's the important part. Let's take a look at what's happening.
Recycling.
Yes, in many ways. Let's take a look at what's happening weather-wise as we head towards Easter weekend. Things are looking pretty good overall. Seeing blue skies. We'll look out from the Mark Hopkins Hotel, but the clouds are going to return as we head through tonight. Fog and low cloud cover to give way to sunshine and warmer temperatures tomorrow. Looks like a pleasant Easter weekend, and then our temperatures peak on Monday. It's down the other side of the temperature roller coaster as we head through next week. Let's switch perspectives, and there is the fog and low cloud cover reorganizing just off the coast as we look to the west from Salesforce Tower. Temperatures a mix of 50s and low 60s on the map. Not much variation. 56 degrees in San Francisco for the cool spot, 62 degrees in Concord for the least cool location. But temperatures did step up a little bit today, and they will again tomorrow after the fog dissipates. The low cloud cover and fog spreading out. Futurecast pretty aggressive, pushing it into the inland valleys by early tomorrow morning. And as we get into the early Friday morning hours, the fog and low clouds are going to be present across most of the Bay Area, but a gray start to the day isn't going to stick around too long. This fog should make it back to the coast by 11 o'clock or so, and even some peaks of sunshine along the coast by tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures will start off in the 40s and low 50s, pretty close to normal, and then we are going to warm up to a greater extent, back up into the low 70s in San Jose. It's about 10 degrees warmer than you were today. A mix of 60s and 70s around the Bay. Cool spots will be along the coast, upper 50s to near 60 degrees. You don't lose that onshore influence. Warm spots east of the Oakland Hills, mid to upper 70s, 78 degrees for Fairfield and around Antioch and Brentwood, flirting with 80 degrees, but falling just short. With temperatures in the North Bay, after you were chilly the past couple of days with highs only in the upper 50s, you're going to make it up to a mix of 60s and 70s by tomorrow afternoon. And the wind isn't going to be as much of a factor. It's part of the reason for the warm up, along with the additional sunshine. The wind is still noticeable right now, but as we head through tonight, that'll die down. It picks back up tomorrow, but there's just going to be a couple spots in the map where the wind gusts top 20 miles an hour tomorrow afternoon. There will be more of those on Saturday, 20 to 25 mile an hour onshore winds, a bit more common by Saturday afternoon and evening. That'll push the cool air just a little farther inland, so temperatures will take a small step back on Saturday, but still very close to what's typical for mid-April. Pollen count, it's going to remain pretty sky high as we head into Easter weekend. The highest category tomorrow. We step back a little bit on Saturday because that wind is going to kind of disperse the pollen through the lower depths of the atmosphere, and then it all settles back towards ground level Sunday and Monday, back into that highest category, especially mulberry, oak, and grass pollen, until we get some shower activity to maybe wash that out of the atmosphere. There are signs of that. Not in the 7-day forecast, but beyond that. The 6 to 10-day outlook shows a weak signal towards wetter than normal conditions, and the 8 to 14-day outlook, which takes us through the end of April, shows that same weak signal towards maybe a couple of showers. The wetter than normal in late April means basically any moisture, because our rain chances on a day-by-day basis basically are zero this time of year. Let's check out the 7-day forecast, and again, it remains dry. For the coast, temperatures aren't going to change a lot. The warmest day will be Monday for the whole Bay Area. At the coast, you'll barely top 60 degrees, but that'll be warm compared to Wednesday and Thursday when you retreat to the mid-50s for highs. Temperatures around the Bay will peak on Monday in the low 70s after upper 60s this weekend, and then it's back down to the lower half of the 60s by Wednesday and Thursday. Those inland temperatures will make it all the way up to around 80 degrees on Monday. We drop a little bit Tuesday, a bigger drop as we head to Wednesday and Thursday, back up into the upper half of the 60s. So below average temperatures late next week. If those rain chances do develop, they would likely be by Friday and Saturday, just beyond the 7-day forecast.
Well,
Sarah?
I'm heading inland to your house on Monday.
Looks pretty nice.
Yeah, all right, Paul, thank you. Tomorrow marks the anniversary of the Great Quake, the commemoration today with a special focus on a man who's dealt with his fair share of disasters in the past.
Hey, my friends, it's Johnny Mosley. Before you pack up your boards and load up your Toyota, let's have a glance at the conditions in the Sierra. The Toyota Tahoe report is dialed. Let's get over to the map.
We have reached that point in the season where conditions are deteriorating pretty rapidly, but beggars can't be choosers when it comes to spring skiing. Most of the resorts are still reporting variable conditions, which means essentially what you see is what you get, but it's better than nothing. High temperatures both Saturday and Sunday will reach the 50s, and overnight lows will only dip briefly to around freezing, which is just a little too warm for the resorts to do any snowmaking of their own. Farther down the line, there are some signs of light snow in the Sierra for the last weekend of April. It's far from a guarantee, of course, but we'll keep you updated here in the Toyota Tahoe Report.
Tomorrow will mark 119 years since San Francisco's deadliest disaster, the 1906 earthquake, killed more than 3,000 people and set off devastating fires that destroyed thousands of homes and buildings in the city. Today, the city honored its firefighters who've shown that same resilient spirit that helped the city bounce back including newly appointed Fire Chief Dean Crispin, who has a personal history responding to major disasters.
I was a responder at 9/11 in New York City, and I learned a lot from that. One of the things that is incredible about those types of incidents is watching people come together after those incidents and help each other and find comfort in family, community.
The city also honored the firefighters who rushed to Los Angeles in response to the deadly Eaton and Palisades fires there. Instead of the real thing, opt for chocolate. The reminder for parents as we get ready for Easter. With Easter fast approaching, animal advocates want to remind everyone that live animals do not make good gifts. They often end up in places like this sanctuary in Anza, where they currently look after 600 ducks, geese, roosters, and one very pregnant pig. The owner says they always see a surge after Easter. Instead, they say that people should stick to the stuffed animal version. Thanks for watching. The news continues at 8 on PIX Plus or 44 Cable 12. We'll see you right back here at 11 p.m.